Well, for the third time in fewer than 2 years, the United States is gearing up to drop bombs in Syria. This time, as in the last times, it is in response to alleged chemical attacks by the Assad regime. In this case, on rebels in the Idlib province. The big question is why the United States should be involved in this at all. It's not an endorsement of anything, but a sincere question. More than 10,000 rebels in that province are believed to be allied with al-Qaeda. So that would mean that 17 years after 9/11, America could soon find itself bombing a country to protect al-Qaeda sympathizers. Why would we do that? David Tafuri was a foreign policy expert for Barack Obama's presidential campaign, and he joins us tonight to explain. David, it's great to see you.
Good to see you, Tucker.
So, 2 Aprils in a row we've bombed Syria in response to chemical attacks, about which we still don't know a lot. Rather than have a debate with you about who's lying and how much we know, let's just, for the sake of argument, pretend that we can take at face value these reports, which we can't, but let's just pretend that we can. Why would this be in America's interest to bomb a government for attacking al-Qaeda sympathizers?
Well, remember that the 2 attacks in the Trump administration that you referred to in April 2017 and April 2018 were in response to the use of chemical weapons by Assad. This 3rd attack, which the U.S. and our allies are preparing for, though not necessarily are going to do, will be to deter Assad from again using chemical weapons. Jim Jeffries, who is President Trump's envoy to Syria, said last Thursday that there's lots of evidence that Assad is preparing to use chemical weapons again. And what's important is that we have to enforce the chemical weapons.
May I stop you there? I just want to make sure I understand this. So you said that we've bombed Syria twice to deter Assad from using chemical weapons, but he's still doing it, but we think bombing him a 3rd time will prevent him from doing it a 4th time because why?
Well, he would have done it a lot more had we not done that. And it's clear that every time the U.S. uses force, Assad backs off. The one thing that Assad and his partners in Syria, Russia and Iran fear is U.S. use of force. That's what they fear.
I'm so confused. Now, I know I'm not a certified foreign policy expert, just a dumb plebe trying to keep up with this. But you just said that you are claiming, and the government is claiming, that he again used chemical weapons. But again, I don't understand. We didn't deter him, apparently, because he's still doing it. So why do we think this time will deter him?
Well, I didn't say he has used them. What I said is that intelligence reports, according to the Trump administration, suggest he is preparing to use them, and we need to deter that. Now, what you're saying is just because he has indicated he's going to use them again means that it didn't help. And what the evidence shows is every time we use force in Syria, Assad backs off. And he backed off in April 2018. He backed off in April 2017. We have to enforce the chemical weapons ban, because if chemical weapons can be used in Syria without any punishment, they'll be used in other places, and ultimately they'll be used here in the U.S. So this is a priority also for U.S. security.
Right. It's right. Okay. There's a lot of propaganda around this question, but I mean, they were used by Saddam against Iran in the Iran-Iraq war. We were aware of that. We did nothing because we approved of the aim, which was, of course, to defeat Iran, which he did not achieve, by the way. Now, as you know as well as I, let's stop pretending, this is all preparatory to some sort of movement against Iran. This is about Iran. If Iran didn't support Syria, we wouldn't be considering this. So why can't people just be honest and say, we want to have a war with Iran, you may not be for it, but we want to have it, but they're lying about it, aren't they?
Well, I don't agree with you that I do agree with you that this also has the benefit of pushing back against Iran, which is highly involved in Syria, which has militias that is supporting in Syria. That's a positive of this, but that's not the only reason. When President Obama failed to enforce the red line in 2013, which was a mistake by President Obama, it wasn't because Iran was there. It was because he should have done it to prevent Assad from using chemical weapons.
We're out of time, David. I hope you'll come back on this question. Good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.
Hurricane Florence growing in strength and heading straight for the Carolinas. It's become a Category 4 storm now, a big deal with sustained winds of 140 miles an hour, expected to make landfall as soon as late Thursday. A state of emergency has been declared throughout the Carolinas, as well as in Virginia, Maryland, and the District of Columbia. More than 1 million people have already been told to evacuate. Obviously, we'll be following this live to the very end. Stay with Fox for that. That's it for us tonight. Tune in tomorrow night and every night the show that's the sworn enemy of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink. Things that need enemies. Have a terrific night. We will see you tomorrow. In the meantime,